So you landed a job that's going to require you to go to an outside studio. That's super cool. I love doing that. But there are some etiquette things to keep in mind when you work in somebody else's studio. I've got 3 biggies and then some other things to talk about, so stick around. Well, first of all, congratulations. You landed a job that's going to take you to another studio. That's exciting. I just did a big project where I was working in another studio in another city. And it's very exciting. And if you've never done this before, or if you haven't done it for a while, stick around because I've got 3 big ticket items to talk about and then some other things to keep in mind. The first thing to talk about, number 1, don't be late. Okay? I'm sure you've heard the old expression, let's see, how does it go? If you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. And if you're late, you're fired. Okay, that's kind of an exaggeration, a little bit harsh, but it's still a good thing to keep in mind. Be a little early. Like walk in the door 10 minutes early, 10 minutes before your session time. Now, if you're like me, you'll arrive a lot earlier than that and just stay in your car out in the parking lot. I don't like to mess around. I've had experiences where, driving to other cities where traffic is, it's unreliable. This series of sessions I did was in Portland, Oregon. I'm driving up from Salem, it's about an hour. On a good day, it's about an hour. On a bad day, it can be 2 hours plus. And most of my session times were 9 a.m. commute hours. So I needed to leave a lot of room, a lot of space, a lot of cushion there because, sometimes it did take 2 hours. So keep that in mind. So that's a biggie. Don't be late. Be a little bit early, not too early. You don't want to put people into an odd situation when they're not ready for you. But 10 minutes, you walk in the door 10 minutes early. Yeah, that's good. Okay, number 2. The biggie. Number 2 biggie. Number 2. Have a big number 2? No, that's not what. I'll get to that. I'll get to that later. Oh, God. This is going off the rails already. My number 2 point is be prepared. Make sure that you have everything you need. You know what the job is about. You know everything is settled. You have no questions about anything other than your performance. And that's not to say that you can't do some homework beforehand and have those questions answered. But remember, things change. Things change, on the fly when you're in a session. I had a session yesterday, a session with a client in Germany. And as we were going through, the script changes. It can have changes. They had me change a couple of pronunciations. And they had me add a little something in the middle of a line, just like an ad lib. So don't over prepare. Know what your script is all about. Be familiar with it, but don't memorize it. God, don't go through the trouble of memorizing something like that because that can really throw you. All of a sudden they're making all these wild changes and your confidence is shot and oh my God, now you're nervous, even more nervous, So don't over prepare, but be prepared. Okay. All right. Number 3, be friendly. That goes so far in just being a friendly, relaxed, cool person. You might be a little bit nervous going into the session. I always am. I always get a little bit of butterflies just because I'm excited. But if you are nervous, don't let it affect your ability to just be a relaxed, nice person. You don't have to be super chatty. As a matter of fact, try not to be super chatty or too anxious. Sometimes actors get this sort of frenetic energy where they're just, that's it can be a little off-putting. So be friendly, be relaxed, be joke around a little bit if that suits your nature. But that goes a long way, especially in creating an atmosphere with people that you've never worked with before that may help them to invite you back for more work. Be easy to work with, okay? So don't be late, be prepared, and be friendly. Okay, now that we've got that out of the way, here are some other little things to keep in mind. How do you smell? Okay. And here I'm just talking about things like perfumes and colognes. You're working in kind of confined spaces, vocal booths, things like that. Don't slather yourself with extraneous smells. I mean, maybe some, whatever's in your lotion, that you put on in the morning, that's fine. But don't put on any other smells. And speaking of smells, if you don't smell very good and you need to shower beforehand, please do. Because again, you're working in confined spaces with other people that may not appreciate how you smell. Okay? Okay. Things to bring. Bring your script. Now remember, your script can change, but just bring your hard copy. Print it out and don't have it on your phone. I mean, hopefully they will have printed out a copy for you at the studio. That's typically the case. Or they'll have it on like an iPad or something for you where it's nice and legible and you can scroll through it if need be. Or somebody else will be scrolling it, scrolling for you, so you don't have to even touch the iPad. But anyway, bring a hard copy of your script. Bring a pencil so you can make notes on it if need be. Bring your own water. Don't rely on the facility to provide you with water. They probably will, but just in case. You don't want to be, dying of thirst and gasping for hydration in the middle of a session if there's nothing else around. Just, be prepared that way. Also, this has happened to me on more than one occasion. If it's going to be a long session, bring a snack. Because typically, if it's a longer session, they'll take a little break after a while. Have something to eat. I don't know about you, but my stomach lets me know when I'm hungry. God, it's like the alien wants to burst out, So, and that's no good because it can get on the mic, I mean, not the blood and the guts and everything from the alien popping out. But the sound, the noise. I've had studio engineers going, "You're hungry, aren't you?" That's embarrassing. So, and that brings me to my next point. Eat something before your session, but watch what you eat. Try to eat cleanly. Things like, it all depends upon. This is very personal. Depending upon how you react to certain foods, some triggers for a lot of people are like sugary drinks. Can make your mouth all kind of gross sounding. A lot of lip smacks and tongue noise and that kind of thing. Ugh. Greasy foods like fast foods, cheese, things like that have a lot of fat in it. That can muck up your noise and it can make you feel bloated. You want to be as comfortable as possible in a directed session. So have something to eat. Don't eat a lot. Try not to feel bloated. Just be comfortable and fuel yourself for this because, it's an exciting thing to be doing and your body's going to be using resources. So make sure you're fueled and you've got plenty of hydration, like I always do. Yeah. Okay. Now, next, in terms of etiquette. Etiquette. What a great word. You always think of people in their Sunday best and they're drinking their tea with their pinky extended. Anyway, I digress. Don't touch anything in the studio. Most importantly, the microphone. These are expensive things and, I wouldn't want somebody, some stranger coming in and messing with my mic. If they need to reposition it, they'll do it, or they'll ask you to do it for them. But don't mess with it unless they ask you to. Pick up the headphones. You'll be wearing headphones. Of course, you can pick those up. But I would not touch any other gear, any other equipment in another person's studio unless I was asked. Unless I was asked to do so. Okay? That's proper etiquette. All right. I'm filled with the juices of life. I'm spitting at you. Anyway, let's see. Wear nice, comfortable, loose clothing. And when I say nice, I just mean nice and comfortable. You don't have to be all dressed up. I rarely am ever. Jeans and t-shirt, that's me. I probably wouldn't wear one that has a skeleton hand doing this, but, to each their own. But don't wear clothing that makes any noise, like when you move your arms. You don't want to hear swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Jewelry, same thing. You don't want to hear dingle, dangle, dingle of necklaces and earrings and bracelets. You don't want to hear any of that stuff. That's just extraneous noise that is not invited to the recording session. Okay. Let's see. I'm just looking at my notes. I think that's it. I think I've covered everything I wanted to talk about. So anyway, enjoy your session. I love them. I've worked in so many other studios, and I hope to work in a lot more. I've worked in studios, in other voice actors' studios. That's always fun. And I've worked in some very high-profile, beautiful studios that you just look around going, oh my God, and you see the investment that people have made in these high-end studios. It can be a little intimidating, but it's really exciting too. So anyway, enjoy yourself. That's great that you're getting to do this. I love doing it myself. And if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the content if you like it. And if you'd like to get more one-on-one time with me, check out my Calendly link and check out the coaching opportunities that are available. Okay? Anyway, I hope this has been helpful to you. Thanks for watching. And until next time, take it easy.